So in our previous class, we were discussing that how Krishna has told twice that we should take shelter of Krishna. We should not, we must take shelter of Krishna. Moving forward, the phrase Man Mana Bhav Mat Bhakto means just be always conscious of me. This then is Krishna consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is repeatedly saying that we should worship him. So it's not like Krishna has said only once. In every shloka almost, you will find that Krishna is asking us that we take shelter of him. We worship him. And in few shlokas, Krishna is straightforwardly saying this, that you become conscious of me. You take my shelter. You become my devotee. You worship me. So Krishna is repeatedly saying that we should worship him, offer obeisances unto him, and then come to him. Bhagavad Gita clearly points to the absolute necessity of Krishna consciousness, and Bhagavad Gita is accepted as the essence of the Upanishads. Even from the historical point of view, it has no comparison. It has been calculated on the basis of archaeological evidence that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra more than 5,000 years ago. So, this Krishna consciousness movement, even from the historical point of view, is 5,000 years old. Its philosophy is the oldest in the history of the world. Basically, this Krishna consciousness movement is from eternal time. It's not like that Srila Prabhupada ji has started this movement. It is from eternal time. And here it is mentioned that it is 5,000 years old, means Krishna again gave this auspicious knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. That's why 5,000 years old. So its philosophy is the oldest in the history of the world. Oldest means not it happened at a specific period of time, but it is from eternal time. Just like we say Krishna is Adi Purush. So that doesn't mean that Krishna is oldest. Adi means from eternal time. So same, this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is also from eternal time. If we wish to trace it even further back, we find that Sri Krishna spoke it earlier to the sun god. Krishna is eternal, and consciousness of Krishna is also eternal. Eternal means that there is no any beginning and there will be no end. Eternal means from always. So Krishna consciousness is from always. This movement of Krishna consciousness is from always. This one should understand. In this way, Krishna consciousness should be approached. It should not simply be considered as a theory. So, approach means that we are hearing, we are understanding things very nicely, and we apply it in our practical life. It's not like that, yeah, we have heard, we are hearing it in theory, and we are not approaching it, we are not practically applying it. We are hearing theory so that we may approach it, so that we may practically follow it. Otherwise, just hearing and just going will not help anyone to transform their lives, to progress in their life. We are hearing so that we may follow it practically. You see, now whatever we hear, if we do not talk about devotional services also, whatever we hear in our materialistic life also, so we hear it so that we may get some knowledge of it, and that so that we may practically follow it, so that we may benefit from that particular knowledge. So, same way, this knowledge should be approached and should not simply be considered a theory. When Krishna consciousness is covered by any other consciousness, we experience our contaminated conditional life. So one should understand this thing, that we are fragmental part of Krishna, and we have been Krishna conscious from always. But this consciousness about Krishna is covered by the contamination of this materialistic world. So it's not like that we have to build this consciousness. This consciousness is already there. It's just it has been covered with materialistic consciousness, Maya consciousness. And that's why we experience our contaminated conditional life. So, naturally, our condition should be that when we chant holy names of Krishna, when we do DT Darshana of Krishna, or whatever services we do for Krishna, we should be experiencing ecstasy. Naturally, we should be feeling ecstasy, we should be experiencing ecstasy. But because this consciousness about Krishna has been covered with the contaminated consciousness, so that's why we do not experience any ecstasy or whatever things. We only experience contaminated conditional life. But this is not our constitutional state. Our constitutional state is that we should be experiencing ecstasy. We should be we should be experiencing abundance love for Krishna. But because of this covering, we are not able to experiencing it. But when we are practicing our devotional services on the daily basis, so this covering is day by day, gradually. And that's why again and again, uh, Shastras, scriptures is emphasizing that we should practice our devotional services on the daily basis. Consistency is very, very much important. That and that way only we will be able to gain expected result. We will be able to progress with a very great speed. But for that, consistency is very much important. When the sky is clear, we can see the sun's brilliant effulgence. But when it is covered by the clouds, we cannot see it. I can really relate with this. Like in Rajasthan, it's been almost few weeks now since the the weather is very much cloudy. It's so cloudy. Only it's raining here, only raining. There is no sun. So I'm feeling like very much, it's very much troublesome that sun is not rising. Sun is there, but it's been covered by the clouds. So it's really very troublesome. So yeah, Prabhupada is telling the same example that when the sky is clear, we can see the sun's brilliant effulgence. But when it is covered by the clouds, we cannot see it. We may be able to perceive the sunlight, but we cannot see the sun disk itself. Unfortunately, like people in Rajasthan are not able to even perceive the sunlight. It seems that sun is not rising these days. So much of darkness is there. It's very much troubling. So yes, but yeah, if it is covered, so sun is there. We may perceive the sunlight, but we cannot see the sun disk itself. When the sky is clear, So are you understanding this thing? That when our this contamination, this contaminated consciousness will go away, then we will be in our natural condition. We will be Krishna conscious always. There will be not even a single moment when we will forget Krishna, and we will reach at that stage very soon. It's not too far. That stage is not too far now. Very beautiful point Raghuji was telling in morning japa, that we have already done all the piety, all the hardships to reach at this stage when we are chanting the holy names of Krishna. We have already done all, like every piety, whatever sacrifices, we have already done that. So, that stage when we will always remember Krishna and we will not forget Krishna for even a second is not that far. We will soon reach at that stage to our natural state, constitutional state. Similarly, our consciousness is eternally Krishna consciousness. But we are part, because we are part and parcel of Krishna eternally. This is asserted in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So now here comes the shloka. We'll try to recite this. ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनः षष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनः षष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनः षष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. The living entities in this conditional world are my fragmental parts. Means fragmental part of Krishna. And they are eternal. So Krishna is eternal, and we, fragmental parts of Krishna, we are also eternal. What does that mean? That it's not like that the moment we heard Bhagavad Gita, so from that time we have became the eternal, the fragmental part of Krishna. We are fragmental part of Krishna from eternal time. Eternal means from always. It's just after hearing scriptures, we became aware of this thing, that yes, we are fragmental part of Krishna, and our duty is to please Krishna. Whatever we do it for the satisfaction of for Krishna. That is our duty. But due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Let's just discuss one more thing about this. Suppose any person, he has forgotten his real state. Just like any boy, he has forgotten his real state, that he is really capable of doing. He is very talented. He is capable of doing very nice things, and he has forgotten all those things. He has forgotten all of his talent, and now he is behaving like a madman. You might have seen madmen roaming in streets, beggars, etc. I remember, like few weeks ago, I was going somewhere. So there I saw one man there. He was he was basically searching for garbage. You might have seen such people who search for garbage. They search something valuable. I don't know what valuable they may find in garbage, but uh, they are into searching something in that garbage. So I was thinking this thing only, that even he has got the human form of life, but he's just wasting his life in searching all those things in garbage. So it is actually very, what to say, he's actually in very bad condition. He is not understanding any particular person. We are taking just example that he has forgotten that he is a really talented boy, and he is behaving like a madman. He is roaming in streets, he's searching whatever things in garbage. So he is actually in very, what we say, dayaniya sthiti in English. I'm not getting that, but yeah, he is actually in very bad state. And same state is actually ours, that we are fragmental part of such a great personality, supreme personality, who is so great, and we are fragmental part of such personality. And then also we have actually forgotten our real, our natural condition, and we are all behaving like a mad man only. At least we were behaving like that until we didn't heard the scriptures. And anyone you see who is not serving Krishna, he's actually behaving like a madman. He's not understanding his value, that how valuable he is, because he's fragmental part of Krishna. This is actual, that any person who is serving Krishna, he is more valuable. But any person, even though he is valuable, but then also if he is not serving Krishna, then he's just valueless. Can you just relate with this thing, that just observe this thing, that we, when we were not serving Krishna, we were actually living like a dead body. But when any person who is serving Krishna, who understood this thing, that I'm fragmental part of Krishna, and my eternal duty is to serve Krishna, then actually he is living. It is mentioned in Bhagavatam only, that any person who, even he has got human form of life, but if he is not serving Krishna, then he is actually a dead body only. He, even though he is living, but living like a dead body. But when anyone who is serving Krishna, he is actually living. So when Krishna comes in anyone's life, so basically he gets a new life when he get the association of devotees. Otherwise, he was just doing all those things. What to say? He have been doing all those things to just nourish this dead matter, which is of no value. So same thing Krishna is telling here, that even though we are fragmental part of Krishna, we are we are eternally fragmental part of Krishna. But due to our conditioned life, because we are not understanding our natural state, our constitutional state, because people are not understanding this, so they are struggling very hard with their lives. with their six senses, which include the mind. So we have five senses and six senses means including mind, it is six. So Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Somehow or other, we have some in contact with material nature. And because of the mind and the six senses, we are struggling hard to exist. That is Darwin's theory. The struggle for existence, survival of the fittest. However, the actual fact is that our constitutional position is not one of struggle. Struggle is the position of animal life. So, that particular boy or man who has actually forgotten his natural condition, that he's so talented, he's so capable, and he is struggling with his life because he has forgotten everything and he is behaving like a madman. So, actually, his position, his condition, his constitutional condition is not to struggle. The way he is behaving like a madman, his actual position is not to behave like a madman. So, same way, our constitutional position is not that we struggle with our lives, that we struggle with our senses. Because this, whatever struggling thing, this is the position of animal life. You see, now animals, they are just so helpless. They can't do anything. Uh, they can't do anything. They can just struggle. Even though they are struggling, but then also they can't question that why am I struggling. But we human beings, we can understand any jiva, if he has got this human form of life, he can actually question and he can actually find out the way to get out of this struggling life, which he have been struggling from eternal time in different bodies. See, the real success of life, who is a successful man? Any person who is so famous, or any person who has earned so much of money, or whatever, he has very nice family. So he's actually not successful. He has a very good success business, very successful business. He's actually not successful person. Successful person is the one who is serving Krishna, who has understood that the only purpose of my life is that I do something for my self realization. That is the real success. That we chant holy names of Krishna, we hear about Krishna as much as we can. Srila Jeev, uh, Jeev Goswami ji tells this thing, that a real devotee is one who always, like every minute, every second, he plans that how I will be able to progress in my bhakti life. What is the next service I have to do so that I may be progress in my bhakti life? How can I take more people to Krishna? How can I preach this auspicious knowledge of Krishna consciousness to other people so that they may also serve Krishna? So, like today, when I was chanting, actually, I thought this thing yesterday only, yesterday night, that I will try to follow this, that every, just like we did our chanting. Now next is this class. Then next is this service. Then next is this service. Let's try this. We will not be wasting our time anymore. We will try to engage ourselves completely in Krishna's service. Like, at least we can try that every time we will try to think that how can I progress more in Krishna consciousness? How can I become more and more conscious about Krishna? We can at least try this. It's okay if we will not be able to follow it completely, but we can at least try this. Very amazing thing that even if we are trying, we are not able to do it completely, even if we are trying, then Krishna is noticing our efforts, that we are making efforts to progress in our bhakti life, and Krishna will definitely help. Then Krishna is noticing our every efforts. So are you understanding this thing, that this struggling thing is not for us? Our constitutional position is not one of struggle. Actually, when it is said, then one should understand that it is said for all the fragmental parts of Krishna. But because other species, because they are not that much intelligent, because their consciousness is not that much elevated, that's why they are helpless. And that's why Prabhupada ji is saying here that struggle is the position of animal life, because their consciousness is not that elevated. So they are helpless. But we are not helpless. We are blessed with the elevated consciousness. So we can actually work on this, that we get out of this struggle permanently. Human life should be blissful and should have its goal spiritual advancement. So, see, and bliss, one can only experience bliss if he has understood this thing, that I am fragmental part of Krishna and my duty is to serve Krishna. Then he actually experiences bliss. There is one devotee, so he's a preacher. So I was watching his Instagram profile. So in that he visit different cities, different countries to meet people and to interact with them about Krishna. So he went to a Rath Yatra, and there he was interacting with a devotee who was like kind of volunteer of that particular Rath Yatra. So he was asking that you people, you chant Hare Krishna. Means he was asking his experience. Not experience, he was just asking that I often see that people who chant Hare Krishna, they have different energy. The way they uh, dance in Kirtan, they have different energy. So that devotee was telling this thing only, that because we are following scriptures, we are following knowledge which is coming in disciplic succession. Disciplic succession means which is coming directly from the Supreme Personality, Krishna. So we are following instructions of the Supreme Personality, and that's why you experience that we have some different energy. So reason behind is that we are following scriptures. So are you getting this line, that human life should be blissful and should have as its goal spiritual advancement? And it can only be possible by following the scriptures, by following the instructions of Krishna. So all right, now we will be continuing our discussion in next class if Krishna is willing. We will stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.